That's it for the regular season. And in Week 18, the Buccaneers had to win to go to the playoffs. It was the only way, except for the Falcons losing to the Panthers, which they did. But it was still do or die. And Baker Mayfield dragged the Buccaneers to victory yet again. And why should it be any different? This game was really a microcosm of what Baker Mayfield and the Buccaneers have been all year. The defense, hit or miss, mostly miss. And the run game, hit and miss, mostly miss. But Baker Mayfield on third down, unstoppable. Baker Mayfield throwing deep in clutch situations, unstoppable. Baker Mayfield making plays with his legs, especially yet again on third down. Unstoppable. The guy was lights out. Nearly perfect on third down, actually perfect on fourth down. What more do you want? In this game, I gave Baker Mayfield an A+, and not only was it an A+, it was one of the 2 or 3 highest graded games I gave anyone in the entire season. This very well could have been the best game a quarterback played in the NFL in 2024. And I know you're probably thinking, they beat the Saints by like 9 points. What are you talking about? Well, you got to watch to find out. Combination of drops and just bad happenstance and lots of penalties fostered a situation where Baker Mayfield had to be, dare I say, perfect for the Buccaneers to win this game. And he was, and they did. So that's enough talk. Let me show you exactly what I mean. And if you disagree, go ahead, point to the plays. Tell me where I got a little carried away. All right, let's roll the film. Let's get it going. Bucs are going to start this off with a little swing pass, nothing to talk about, very routine. On second down, Baker Mayfield's going to do what basically he does all game, which is throw in a relatively tight window, a very solid throw about 10 yards downfield. And another theme of this game, Jalen McMillan, good hands, right? Tight window, in contact with the defender, still makes the catch. That's the kind of thing that Jalen McMillan probably drops in September or October, but here in December, January, he's really started to become a legitimate wide receiver too. So common themes, Baker throwing intermediate routes with great velocity and accuracy, and Jalen McMillan stepping out, blossoming in front of our eyes. There's another one. Come on, if I told you in September Jalen McMillan's making catches through contact in an elimination game, you're going to be thrilled. I'll happily eat crow from when I called him one of the worst receivers in the league. Here, this play is a little bit more of what Baker did so well in this game, right? Nobody's open early. Top of his drop, there's nowhere to go. Baker rolls out to his left, has insane body torque, insane arm talent. While running full speed to his left, throws a strike. Bang. Solid throw plus pocket movement. I got the tight copy just so you can see, A, look at how he contorts his body. This takes crazy arm strength. And B, look at the tight window and the perfect placement, right? If he places this just a little further behind, if this is not a perfect throw, if it's a little bit behind, it can get broken up. If it's a little bit too far ahead, Culp is going to run into not only Saints defenders, but his own guy. Because Baker Mayfield places this ball perfectly and with tons of velocity, Culp has enough time to catch the ball, tuck it, and put his shoulder down so he doesn't get beheaded. Great throw by Baker. Well, great play by Baker Mayfield. Solid throw, 2+ pocket movements. You could even argue a third. All right, 1 step up, 1 roll out, 1 throw while running, but I'm just going to do 2. Here, Sterling Shepard. Why are you being Jalen McMillan from September? Probably not nice to shade Jalen McMillan in a game that he played so fantastically in, but I thought it was funny. Routine throw. That incompletion's not on Baker. This one, the Bucs have such a well-designed screen game usually. You see Tristan Wirfs right there laying the block. Well, he just whiffs, and he missed a couple actually in this game. Because he misses, McMillan never gets a chance to get upfield, and it's a damn shame because he would have gotten at least 15 yards if you ask me. Next drive, Buccaneers really struggling to score, right? All these plays are just not quite working. The run game was having a hard time getting going. Baker bails out of the pocket. Now, this is a sign that Baker was kind of I don't want to say playing conservative, but he was aware that all he had to do was win this game, and you probably don't have to ball out to beat the Saints' backups, right? Because Sterling Shepard is open. The issue is it's kind of a tight window, not because Sterling Shepard is covered at all, but you're in kind of a tough spot. If you lead him a little bit too far to the sideline, it's probably getting picked off by Alontae Taylor, number 1. And I'm not quite sure who that nickel defender is, but if you leave the ball inside and sit Sterling Shepard down too much, it's getting picked off by him because you have to gun it right through his lane, right? There's just not a good throwing lane. Typically the answer to this problem is you loft it over the top, play monkey in the middle, right? Right over their heads. But if you put too much air on it, there's a safety right over here who's going to crush you. So I think Baker did a good job to just say, you know what? I don't need to risk it. It's first down. This is a game we should win. I'll be safe, throw the ball away, live to fight another day. I don't think that's a bad play at all. Here, Baker and empty. And a little quick hitch to Mike Evans. Routine. Operating the offense. This is just a bad ball. All right, Baker steps up in the pocket. Clean enough pocket. I think he thinks that Mike Evans is going to be breaking outside instead of just kind of hooking his route off. But either way, bad ball. These things happen. Here, decently designed play, but a cornerback who reads it immediately and watch left guard Ben Bredesen just eat it, right? 68 falls on his face. Wasted. And if he had been there to seal off the edge and block that cornerback, which would be really easy for him, being that he's a guard, Bucky Irving's gone. Touchdown. But he trips and falls and hits his face, and it's a loss. So that is a routine throw, and it could have been so much better. Watch, I think 68 on this tight copy, you can really see him fall down. Yeah. It's a fat attack, is what they call that. Shout out Shane Gillis for coining that term. No matter, Baker Mayfield, quick release, top of the drop, great anticipation, solid throw, bang. And another, right? Bucs had a lot of penalties in this first half that really stalled their offense or at least gummed up the works. And Baker did a great job of getting the yardage back quickly. Solid throw there. Play action. No time. Look at this play by number 0. Now, I'm not sure who number 0 is on the Saints, but after I finish this video, I will be looking him up because he had a great game, right? It's a corner blitz, and immediately 0 realizes, I'm not getting to the quarterback. It's a screen. They're going to throw right behind my head. And if theoretically 0 had just blitzed Baker, he lofts it over the top, Irving catches the ball, and he's gone. But 0 recognizes, turns around, flips his hips immediately, great agility, and he gums up the works. And he gums up the works just long enough for center Graham Barton to whiff on a block, and Mario Davis blows up the play. It's a routine throw by Baker. It's exactly what he was supposed to do. It's just a great play by the defense. And here comes 0 again on the blitz. This time, Baker's got the answer, right? 0 can move now. He's a quick dude. I like this guy. Solid throw, though. Beats the pressure. You beat the pressure with brains, not with throws. It was a bad throw. Fade to Evans in the end zone, and it's overthrown. Too much. Yeah, McKinstry was a little touchy-feely there. Maybe more than is technically legal, but it was also a bad placed ball. I don't think that Evans would have caught that even if it was guarded a little softer. Here, Baker does the right thing, but he just makes a bad throw. Top of the drop, nobody's really open. You could hit Payne Durham, 87, on the backside at the 5-yard line right now. He's probably not getting in the end zone. And the problem is that by the time Baker realizes he can't throw that curl, A, his running back has a better avenue to the end zone than his tight end does. And B, if you're just a little late, Alontae Taylor or our good old boy 0 on the right side of the field, the bottom of the screen, they can pick that ball off if you don't gun it. So this is the safe play. Baker just doesn't get enough arm on it. He's being hit while he throws a little bit. It's a plus movement, but it's a bad throw. Now, here's where Baker starts to really pick it up. Really good job as a runner in this game. Maybe not on this play, right? Top of the drop, you need to gun that ball to Sterling Shepard. It's second down. You've got time. He's wide open, gun that thing. But he doesn't like it for whatever reason, pulls the ball down, and he runs pretty decently, right? He picks up half as many yards. So it's a neutral run. I don't love it, and it certainly would have been better if he threw the ball, but it's not the end of the world. It's fine. Next play is where it really presents itself, though, because it's third down now due to Baker not pulling the trigger on the prior play, and nobody's open, right? I think it's just Hank, a lot of curls right around the sticks, and nobody's there, and Baker's getting pressured. So he steps up, and as soon as he escapes, he says, I know what I'm doing. I'm running. That's a solid run. That's a good play. Plus run, plus movement. Good job. Right? Avoiding pressure in the pocket, and then taking off with his legs afterwards. Play action. Again, it's the right read. It's just a bad throw. Baker was not that accurate to Bucky Irving in this game. Little motion, you got zone. Baker doesn't have time, right? Here's the top of his drop. You could throw the quick curl. Baker's hunting for something bigger because he has Mike Evans on the corner, and it should have worked, right? So while he's waiting for Evans to get open on this corner, which again, it does work, Baker has to step up, and he doesn't have the time to throw all the way to the outside. So he realizes at the last second, my homie Sterling Shepard, an easier throw that I can make while running, right? So here's how the play's supposed to look. So this is kind of a cool designer play where it's man on the outside with a single high safety, and the linebackers are both going to play zone underneath. I think it's very well designed. The intended target is going to be Mike Evans on this corner that I've outlined here in red for you. The idea of this play is that the motion is supposed to tell you whether it's man or zone, right? So Evans is going to move in to here. And then if it's man, Evans is probably going to be open over the top on the corner. And if he's not, you can hit the dig behind him. So this safety here is going to have to decide, am I running with the corner or am I staying home on this dig? Now on this particular play, it's weird because it's kind of man and it's kind of not. It actually works perfectly for this play though, because this veer route that the tight end runs, it takes both of these linebackers out of the play. I don't know why I drew a C there when I meant to draw an X. Let's fix that. Takes both of them out of the play. Because they're both out of the play, now you have a nice, juicy void right here to throw this dig. Here's the problem. Mike Evans is open because the safety picked the dig. But Baker can't hit him because he's being pressured too much. Here, let's clear it off and I'll show you from the start. So Evans moves in, people shift, but they don't necessarily move over. Makes it unclear. Is this zone or is it man? Well, it turns out it plays like man. You got Zero, our old boy, playing on Mike Evans. And Baker Mayfield has to step up because he's got pressure, right? He can't throw this corner just yet because the safety is still looking for it. The safety is still saying, I see what you want, and I can trigger there in time to break up the pass. So even if Evans does beat Zero on the corner, as he's supposed to in man coverage, it's still going to be double covered. Thus, Baker has to buy a little more time because the rush has caved in his offensive line. Right here, Mike Evans is open because the safety has stepped up to take the dig away. But by now, Baker Mayfield's entire body is contorted. He's running upfield. He can't flip his hips and throw 30 yards accurately to the corner because, what if he misses? That's a pick, and that's catastrophic. So instead, Baker just throws a dart to that dig. That's a great way. It's a great example of understanding your route concepts even when the play breaks down, keeping your eyes downfield as a passer even when you're being pressured and have to run. It's just excellent football. It's a very solid throw, and it's at the very least 2+ pocket movements. Here's another example of Baker Mayfield understanding what's going on late in the down. He could have a picnic back here, right? Saints rush 3, and the protection holds up magnificently. Baker is patient. He doesn't force the ball. He doesn't take off running. He waits until Mike Evans uncovers, and then he throws just a laser. Now, you can kind of see it here. I will show you in a moment the tight copy. That's a perfectly thrown ball. It's a great throw. It might even be an elite throw. But, hey, let's take it easy. Let's Let's be biased against Baker rather than in favor of him. I'll show you the tight copy now. So again, Baker's going to have all the time in the world, but look at this throw. And I'll watch it clean, and then I'll rewind for you. Just a dart, frame by frame, over the heads of defenders, into a tiny, tiny window, and into the hands and face of Mike Evans. You can see that ball is between the hands, between both hands, of a Hall of Fame wide receiver known for his possession catching. That's got to be caught, right off the chin. Yikes. No matter, because on the very next play, Baker is going to step up, avoid a little pressure. Light pocket movement, and notice the wide open tight end who's doing jumping jacks in the end zone. Yeah, Baker got him too. Solid throw, really great pocket movement. The Bucs are on the board, and suddenly things are not so hopeless. But then tragedy strikes, and watching the broadcast, all of us were probably thinking, "Oh, Baker, why would you do that?" Right? It looks like just a terrible duck of a throw and a bad pick. That looks terrible. Well, I'll show you on the tight copy. This is why it happened. Great hand by Curtis Granderson. And Cody Mauch just getting walked, right? The ball turns into a duck. It gets deflected severely, and that's why it's a pick instead of an accurate ball. The ball should have gotten there with a lot more velocity, and it should have been way closer to the receiver than the safety. But the Bucs don't have to pay. That's not a throw. So by the way, that interception, that's a bad throw, not an interceptable throw, right? It's a batted ball. It could have gone up, down, backwards, or sideways, and the only difference is the angle of the defender's hand, and the quarterback has no control over that. However, the quarterback should never get a ball batted. So it's bad, but it's not the end of the world. Here, Baker throws a nice 13-yard hook. That's solid, the Joe Burrow special. And on third down, this could have been the game. Baker just airmails it. It's a terrible deep miss. And at the time, it looked like that could be the reason that the Bucs lose. Right? Clean pocket, tons of time, just misses. Shades of early in 2023 when Baker just couldn't hook up with Mike Evans on a deep ball to save his life. But have no fear. Baker Mayfield is here. Steps up, runs, excellent pickup of nearly 20 yards, right? Got to keep in mind, this is not 1st and 10. This is 1st and 20. So when Baker steps back and he sees that he has Bucky Irving in the flat, he doesn't want to throw that swing route because he needs like 10 yards to stay on schedule. So he steps up and he wants to gun it, but there's nowhere to gun it, so he just runs. Great job processing post-snap. Great job understanding the game scenario, understanding you need a lot of yards. A swing pass not going to cut it. Great run, positive run, plus pocket movement to avoid the pressure in the pocket as well. And then, have we seen this play before? Another solid throw in a tight window to Culp. And Culp does a great job of snagging that ball. He's not the fastest man, he's not the most athletic man, but he's a big man with good hands. Speaking of good hands, Baker Mayfield just throws a terrible pass, and Mike Evans says, "Don't worry about it, buddy, I got you." That is Mike Evans. That is Hall of Fame stuff. Where was that in the end zone, dude? No harm, no foul. Baker goes empty, and again, third down, he just needs it, right? Yeah, he probably could have thrown one of these curls. It would have been tough. He sees nobody in the middle of the field. I'll beat you to the sticks, and he does. Solid run. A weird play action where somebody went the wrong way. Well, you know what it is Bucky Irving said, "Oh, you got a free rusher. Fuck the play action. I gotta block that guy," and he does, and it's a good job. Pressure still gets through. Baker's a stud. Now I'm about to make a clip here because the next 3 plays, Baker Mayfield saves the Bucs' entire season. Right? So it's play action. There's a free rusher. So Bucky Irving has to abandon the play action and just block. But then Cody Mauch gets completely pancaked. He's on his butt. That's a familiar sight. And Graham Barton's in the process of getting walked back to the quarterback as well. So Curtis Granderson just destroyed a double team and blew the play up. Baker Mayfield is at his own 47-yard line when he has no hope of escaping a sack. He's down here, right? He's down at the 48. And then he breaks that somehow, and now he's down at the 49, right? He's in the grasp of a defensive tackle. There's no way he's getting out of this. He can't throw to Raheem Jarrett, who's open at the 30-yard line in the middle of the field. He's being crushed. And Baker Mayfield just stiff arms a defensive tackle. Get off me. I got a game to win. I got a playoffs to attend. So Baker Mayfield runs, and it's a neutral run. It's like 5 yards. But instead of being down at his own 49-yard line, Baker is now down at the opposing 36-yard line. It's about a 15-yard swing because Baker Mayfield's a dog. And that's why we give him 2+ pocket movements and a neutral run for that play. That is 15 yards he created just by being tough, just by refusing to say die. Very next drop back, 4th and 7, right? Because they try running the ball twice, and it doesn't work at all. Tristan Wirfs missed a block on a Baker Mayfield run. We're not going to go over it. Clean pocket. Look at the anticipation. Baker knows that he's got a corner route from McMillan against single high coverage, exactly the coverage that this route is made to beat. And even though McMillan's not open at all when Baker Mayfield lets go of this ball, he knows he will be. That's trust in your young receiver who, hasn't necessarily been the most trustworthy for most of the season. And it is a perfect throw. Let's roll the tape. Dime. Elite deep throw on 4th down. This ball travels about 30 yards, right? Lets it go at the 50. Caught it about the 12. And look at the placement. If that ball is 2 feet more underthrown, 2 feet underthrown, easily broken up. If it's a yard underthrown, it's probably picked. But if he puts that ball a couple yards further downfield and Jalen McMillan has to really run upfield, he's at the 10-yard line, and all of a sudden that safety has a chance to make a play on the ball. That ball was perfectly placed. And Jalen McMillan does a great job to catch it. Let's watch the tight copy, shall we? The part you didn't see right there at the end is Jalen McMillan says he signaled the first down, and it looked wrong because his fingers were broken, so they're taped together, which, may I say, perfect ball, but great catch to make with broken fingers, Jalen. If that's the case, that stinks. But either way, right here, Jalen McMillan gets a 15-yard penalty. And on the next play, they get a holding penalty. So it's 1st and 18. And it's like, Jesus, every time we ever get a break, something wonderful happens. Because Baker Mayfield rolls out of the pocket. It's a 3-man rush, so he knows once I step up, I've got time to make a downfield throw. I don't have to just dump this ball off to Bucky Irving in the flat, right? I can step out and I can wind up because there's nobody coming from behind me. And Baker Mayfield just throws a dime with no feet on the ground, right? He's at the 37-yard line. He has no feet on the ground when he throws. He's moving, running while he throws. There's not a lot of space to put this ball. He's got to make the ball travel 40 yards, and it has to be extremely fast. Jalen McMillan almost doesn't have to break stride. He takes 1/2 step. Ball is placed perfectly right over the pylon. McMillan gets the ball. He can shield himself from the defender. It is perfect. And it's a touchdown, and suddenly the Buccaneers have the lead. 3 plays, Baker Mayfield dragging this team to the playoffs. And a great catch by Jalen McMillan as well. Like I said, breakout game from that dude. Here's another one, right? It looks like Baker Mayfield's about to take a safety. It's 3rd down. You need the line to gain. He takes a little too long in the pocket. This hitch, I don't love it. He should have already thrown the ball to Mike Evans. He's a little late, right? The ball should have already been out long ago. Now 31 has keyed on Mike Evans, and he's breaking down. See Mike Evans look and say, shit, I'm going to have to take a hit now because Baker's late. Baker Mayfield processes it poorly, but when you got great arm strength and you got Mike Evans, you can get away with some things. Solid throw at the line to gain. 10 yards downfield. It wasn't a perfect play. Baker messed it up a little bit in the beginning, but it worked out real well now, didn't it? Here, just not great. You got a tight end on a defensive end, and Tristan Wirfs comes and cleans it up, but Baker's already had to break down because he doesn't know Tristan Wirfs is going to clean it up, and he's sacked before he can ever do anything. No fault sack. So it's 3rd down yet again, and Baker Mayfield's going to run yet again. Can we be real for a second? It's 3rd and 15, right? See that ref standing at the 12-yard line? That's the line of scrimmage. See that marker at the 27-yard line? Yeah, you need some yards here. So Baker Mayfield can't check this ball down to his running back or, that tight end at the stick. He needs to throw deep, and nobody's open deep, so he's just gonna do it himself. You don't need to be Lamar Jackson to be extremely effective as a runner. Baker Mayfield proves that. That's a great run. And a plus pocket movement. He escaped pressure before he started running. All right, clean. It's just the Joe Burrow special. It's a hook. It's routine. Clean pocket, clean throw, big body, boxing out, making it easy. Another one, clean pocket, hook to the corner, 12-yard throw, good placement. It's a solid ball. And one more. Routine throw to Mike Evans, get him over 1,000 yards. I don't know about you, but I thought this was special. That being said, we skipped a play because it technically wasn't a throw. One more play and then we'll finish up. So the Buccaneers are going to motion Mike Evans because he's the intended receiver, and they see that whoever 31 is, that's who's probably covering him. Baker makes some checks at the line because he sees, hey, we got man coverage. It's probably going to be an all-out blitz. So everybody be on your P's and Q's. That's a good check by Mayfield because he's right. It is a blitz. Four men drop out, one comes late. Mike Evans is running a corner, and he would have won too, right? He's open. Problem is Baker Mayfield's already pressured. He has to step up and through a defensive tackle who's trying to hit him. And then he comes up into the pocket thinking, okay, maybe I can reset and throw to Mike Evans, and he's met with more pressure. So he's got to roll out, and he says, like, dude, I'm sorry, Mike. I can't get you these yards. I got to get rid of this ball, score a touchdown. So he flips it out to Bucky Irving, and Bucky Irving does the rest. That's 2 plus pocket movements and a routine throw, even though the stat sheet will call it a run, because technically the ball was thrown backwards. On the day, Baker Mayfield had those 2 elite throws in succession to basically win the Buccaneers the game. He had a great throw downfield, and the key was 11 solid throws, right? All those throws to the second level, right at the sticks, a little bit further. Great performance by Baker Mayfield. The downfield accuracy was incredible. If you just take out his 8 routine throws, like all the easy stuff, the screens, the swings, still 66.7% accurate. That's crazy considering the league average is 44% on those kinds of throws. He didn't take any sacks that he shouldn't have. There was the 1 sack, and I don't think it was his fault whatsoever. He also had a negative run, but it was largely because Tristan Wirfs missed a block. 17 different times Baker Mayfield maneuvered in the pocket to either extend a play, avoid a sack, or some combination of the both. And he had 4 positive runs, including one that was over 20 yards on 3rd and 16 or something like that. Crazy performance by Baker as a runner. He had 68 yards rushing. That's nuts as well. Overall, this is one of the games of the year. I mean, legitimately, I gave him 20.25 PGP points. What is a PGP point? Well, I have a point value assigned for every kind of play in this chart. And typically, if you get over like a 12 or 13, you're looking at like an A+. Typically, 10 to 12 is A minus, 12 to 14 is an A, 14 and above, probably A+. Baker hit 20.25. I've seen better games, but maybe a handful ever. This was excellent football by Baker. Clean, excellent football. And it would have looked a lot better even in the stat sheet if it didn't have a tipped ball interception hanging over his head. That completes a season for Baker that is, well, frankly, it's unheard of. I haven't seen a season this good since Tom Brady in 2021. It's actually funny, just the coincidences, the way things work out. Somebody commented on one of my older videos, do you think it's a little convenient that you're a Buccaneers fan and the best 2 grades you've ever given a season are Baker Mayfield and Tom Brady? Well, I'm not a Buccaneers fan at all. Actually, my little sister was growing up, and because she liked Joe Jaravicious, just had a cool name, I guess. I was not a Buccaneers fan at all. Frankly, I think the uniforms are a little bit boring, except the creamsicles, which rule. Just so happens that they keep on I don't want to say lucking into, but they keep on acquiring quarterbacks that I think are extremely good and underrated. So Baker Mayfield had an A season, a legendary Hall of Fame caliber season, and I do wish he'd get a little bit more credit, but luckily next week he gets to play against the Washington Commanders, who his second best game of the year was against. He got 18.5 PGP in that game, week 1, 3 of 4 on deep balls. And that reminds me, last year, one of the problems with Baker Mayfield's game was that, at least for the first half of the season, he just could not hit a deep ball. It looked like that miss to Mike Evans in this game all the time. Well, this season, he's thrown 31 deep balls, which is less than a lot of quarterbacks. The Bucs don't throw deep that much, and it's probably because Mike Evans was gone for a lot of the season, but Liam Cohen also just doesn't run that kind of offense. On the 31 deep attempts, Baker Mayfield's been accurate on 21 of them. That's 67.7%, and that's the best in the league at deep balls. Baker was also accurate on 81% of his throws. Best in the league. League average amongst the 11,000 snaps I've graded is 72.5%. It's a legendary season. It is a Hall of Fame caliber season. Now, I'm not saying that this season makes Baker Mayfield a Hall of Famer, but this is the kind of season that really only Hall of Famers have. Hopefully he keeps it up. Hopefully Liam Cohen sticks around in Tampa Bay, either by just deciding he needs another year before he's a head coach, or, God forbid, being promoted. By God forbid, I mean, please, dear God, get him promoted to head coach. But what do you think? Am I being too high? Is this too much credit for beating the lowly Saints, or did Baker Mayfield really do something special here? Because, I mean, hell, even if you took every one of his 11 solid throws and knocked them all down to average routine throws, he still would have gotten an A minus, right? That's how crazy good this game was. Let me know. Hit me in the comments. And once again, why isn't Baker Mayfield getting credit? But until next time, I got a lot of film to grind. Get ready for playoff time. Hasta.